3, 2, 1.
Place, guys. All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Spill the CT, the best women's CSGO podcast out there. I'm Lucy. I'm joined today by my lovely co-host, who is always going to be here sitting on my left. That's Hedje. How you doing today?
Amazing, and I'm so excited because we have managed to get on these two, I think, probably the best Counter-Strike players of all time, at least in the women's CS, and also VALORANT champions. But now, back to CSGO, it's, of course, zAAz and Juliano. zAAz, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Or you mean today or in general?
Yeah, in general.
Today, in general, I'm feeling great. I'm so
Great.
happy to have Juliano back with me. I don't know what I would do without her. Actually, like, I'm just happy. I'm looking forward to everything. Actually, this year.
Same,
And-
honestly. I mean, I came from sign up had been waiting for so long for me to come back. Meanwhile, I was going into champs and all that stuff, so I had so much else to do. And right when I came home from champs, I jumped on the CS server. So it was such a big switch for me. But I'm super excited. I've been wanting this since September, and I think we've talked about joining Impact ever since it started last year. So I'm super excited to finally have the chance to come back.
Amazing. Well, we're very happy to have you back. In terms of how we're going to flow here with the podcast, we'll start by just going over some of the latest bits and pieces, just the headlines, kind of what's new in CS and ESL Impact and all the rest. And then we're going to dive into spilling the CT with you both. So the most, I guess, biggest news to kick things off is that Counter-Strike 2 is coming. It's here. Have any of you played it yet?
No.
Nope.
Didn't get an invite.
Nope. No better.
Nothing.
Are you being punished for leaving? Is that what's happening
Right.
here?
Maybe.
But you're back. You're back
I mean,
now.
no. I think a lot of people didn't even get it, right? It's
Mm.
not only us. It's randomized, I guess. But I mean, what can we do? We just have to wait for better days, I guess, until we get the invite. If we even
I was
get
so
it.
sad though.
Yeah.
Your teammate has it. I
watching
saw
the
Krasi has
streams and-
it.
Yeah, Krasi got it yesterday, I think.
Oh, wait. What if I got? Okay, I'll check later.
Check this just in.
I've been
zAAZ
checking
got
every
it.
day. I wake up and check.
Same.
I wake up, I check, and nothing yet.
Yeah. Have you been playing matchmaking though?
I have a brother who's
back in
been
the
grinding
days.
it a lot, and
Yeah.
I still play matchmaking, with friends, in my city, oops. But so I expected to get it, but no.
Yeah. I also play matchmaking a lot with noobs lately. Lucy.
Hey, I've got CS2, so
Yes, she got it, and none of us do. It's unfair.
Lucy,
Yeah.
send me your account on DM, please.
Yeah,
When
maybe
we
just
finish
get
here.
good. You guys just need to be a bit better, and you'll get it too.
Ooh, burn.
Ooh, shots fired.
I don't have a leg to stand on though, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's only Dust 2, so you're not missing out on too much because
No.
Dust 2 kind of sucks.
What? No way. Dust 2
Well,
is one of the best maps.
you're entitled to your opinions.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Imagine they deleted it instead of Vertigo I don't know. I still don't believe it.
Yeah.
But
We grew up
you-
on Dust 2, me and Sign Up.
That's two is CS. It's CS. That's where you grew up.
Yeah. And when you deathmatch, you always deathmatch on those two, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's the best map for deathmatch. Tell
Yeah.
tell everyone. I tell everyone.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? You're deathmatching on Mirage. Are you crazy? Why?
I swear, Sign Up was born on a deathmatch server, I think.
Yeah.
Literally.
Is it still Brutal CS, or have you
Yeah, it
switched territory? Yeah, always.
It is. Yeah.
Mm.
Always and forever.
We have
But-
VIP access, it's
No,
easy
it's
to just
pro nowadays. Sign Up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It was about
But-
time.
yeah.
But is it from what you've seen on of CS2? Did you go when you have heard things? You've seen all the hype videos and stuff. But do you think that there's anything that you want to see added to CS2 that you can like steal from Valorant?
I would say the update of the ping.
Exactly.
Like,
I wanted to say the same.
I wouldn't like to have like the map and ping exact location, but the ping system to be a bit better, because now it's like taking pixels and it goes up close and it covers like your vision a lot. And I think it would be nicer to be able to like ping a bit more, have like not so noob friendly like in Valorant, because in Valorant you really ping right on the bomb and you can just spam where it is. And I think that takes away a bit of the skill. But I would like a better ping, I think. Actually, I don't even know if they fixed that for CS2, but
no, I checked it yesterday, I think, and they didn't fix it. It's the same.
But besides that, I don't know. I can't think of anything. I think right now, like, just the smoke is a bit too cartoonish in a new CS2.
It's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
I think the videos make it look a little bit more like weird than it is. Like, you can't just like shoot through and see through it. It's a bit more like, it's kind of cool when you play with it. Then I think it lasts too long with the nade. That's probably the main thing. But you can like smoke mid doors on Dust 2 with like a single smoke. You don't need to do a hinge smoke, for instance, or an Xbox smoke. You can just do like one smoke, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's the same same on long.
Yeah.
You only need one smoke for the cross now.
Yeah, that's super nice. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, so I cannot really tell my full opinion, which sucks. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm sure they're gonna update a lot of things before we start playing it anyway. So
yeah.
And hopefully some new maps too, because I don't want to play Dust 2 anymore. Sorry.
Hey.
Should add Tuscan or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We've been waiting. I thought they were. Yeah, we can talk about that later in the podcast, because now we're kind of wondering, because when you have CS2 come out, it's a new like kind of title and it's a new opportunity to expand the women's scene. And bring in new players? Do you think that we are going to be able to move more players across from Valorant?
I think some might probably come back who maybe did not make it in Valorant, or who just simply miss CS. But it's hard to say, honestly, because everyone does what they feel like, right? Like, same for me. I went over to Valorant, I came back, like Signup did the same. So it's hard to say. Like, we didn't come back for CS2 because when we decided it was all the way back in September, so we still didn't know about it. So I don't know, honestly. I think we'll see.
I don't think that much is gonna come back to CS, honestly.
It depends, because like the new Valorant system, it seems to be kind of bad for the game changer scene. I think there was only like 5 invited teams for the playoffs, and then there's 1 slot for the open qualifier in total.
Wow.
Which makes and we had 128 out of 128 teams signed to the qualifiers past events, which gives nobody a chance, basically.
128
so maybe
teams
people would give it up
for 6 in total that are actually playing the event. That's insane.
And 5 are invited based on last season performance. So I think it's gonna be super hard for new teams to come up and.
Yeah, but is that the whole? Is it EMEA, the region?
Yeah.
From EMEA, and then you have others from North America, South America, and.
Yeah, but it's separated. So like the season, like now, for example, the VCT season EMEA. As I understood it, it's like there is 5 invited teams, and then there is a whole open qualifier, which only 1 team qualifies.
Yeah, that's actually insane.
Yeah.
But we always had like two slots to open.
Heaps of slots now are in ESL Impact. Yeah, come on over if you're playing Valorant Game Changers. Sounds like it sucks over there. We got so many slots rolling in.
Yeah, but it's less inclusive, I think, because it's super hard to come from an unknown team and get yourself up to the top, because there's only 1 slot. And I think that now changed a lot, because before we all played 1 qualifier. We played a qualifier to qualify for the tournament itself, and then it was like a playoff bracket, right? And
And double elimination as well, which I thought was great.
So you gave a lot of more opportunities for a lot of teams, because I don't think the scene is set to stone of who's like the best besides us.
Yeah.
in Valorant.
Yeah. No, but I agree with that. I think it's very important that we have enough to open qualifier. That's why I really like what ESL Impact has done. That they have 4 slots this time. They always had 4 slots for to open qualifiers for every region, so that no one, if you are in good form when a qualifier is, you will qualify. And we have seen all the like unknown teams, lesser known teams come into open qualifiers, and then of course when we've been able to expand it to 12 teams, that's just giving many more the opportunity to showcase what they can do.
Yeah.
And I think in
Talking of
sorry, no, if you want to I just wanted to add, like, I thought that maybe like the reason we kind of asked that question was because CS2 is kind of like a new launch, right? Like, it's not a game that comes with a decade of baggage, I suppose, and maybe a reputation of being less welcoming to like women casually as well as professionally than maybe Valorant, which has gone in kind of feet first, you know, with game changes kind of coming from the developer. So I thought maybe, you know, as a fresh game with kind of a newer system and already having like tournaments like ESL Impact in place, it might be more enticing to women to be more involved. So I guess we'll see. But that was kind of my thinking on that.
I think though there's not a huge difference with CS2 and CSGO, right? Like, it's kind of still the same, but it's like
it looks a little bit more Valorant-y, like when you're playing it. Like the colors are a lot bolder, it's a lot brighter.
Especially with the Mollo or Incendiary. With the purple, pinkish flames. I'm like, what has happened to my...
But I mean, from what I have seen on the streams, etc., is like it's still like the same mechanics, and you know, like it's still that. I think like the mechanics in CS is way harder than Valorant, for example. It's easier in Valorant, so I think like I don't know, it feels like it's the same, but the graphics are better, etc. You know, like
if they manage to actually make it like that, Valve, then that's kudos to them, really.
Yeah.
Because obviously we don't want our game to change too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, that's CS2. The next on the latest goss is just a few updates on what's been going on in ESL Impact since we last did the podcast. I think with a couple of headline points. We won't discuss each one, but like once we've rattled through them, we can go into any. But an exciting one in the first week was that NIP beat Nigma Galaxy, which was the first time that a team has beat Nigma Galaxy since ESL Impact started. I think they were on a 38 series win streak, which is kind of insane. Pretty big numbers. So they're no longer kind of untouchable. And similarly, CRG Red lost a map, which isn't the same thing, but they did lose a map to an NA team for the first time. And we've got a new team called Detonate, which is topping Group B in NA, which is cool. So that's a region where it's felt like it's been a little less competitive in previous seasons. So it's good to see that's changing up. Furia in South America are doing really, really well without Olga, which was a massive change for them, losing essentially the best player and probably the best player in the region. And they got Gabs coming in for her temporarily. And the last little headline was that the wildcard qualifier for season 3 is going to be the Asian qualifier, which means there's a good chance we see HSG, who played the last couple of LANs, but now with Olga, which is a really exciting development.
Yeah, what is clearly happening is that the competition is intensifying. And I am really happy to see that we have multiple teams that are stepping up, and that the kind of skill gap, the level between the top teams and the teams that are following are decreasing.
Yeah, it's always more fun with competition, for sure.
And I guess on that point, the other exciting thing is that we have new organizations coming in. in Europe in particular. We had Team Spirit announced last week. And obviously, we had Guild and G2 Oya getting announced too. So that's really cool. It's 11 of the 12 orgs.
Oh, yeah.
11 of the 12 teams have organizations backing them in Europe now, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's a huge difference from when we were playing back in the days. So it's really fun to see, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
You were talking about, but I am not going to digress, but because we're going to talk about that later, I almost forgot. But I think I think that you were talking about coming back in September already. Did you already have plans with G2 that you were going to create and build that CSGO team with them?
Yes.
Yeah, it was talked about. Like, it was not something that we defined, like set in stone, like this is gonna happen. But we definitely did have conversations about it. I brought it up. It was like 2 months before Champions that I felt like kind of burned out of Valorant. I was missing playing with zAAz. She was obviously going back to CS. And the only thing I could think of was like going with her because yeah, it's my duo, you know. We've been teammates for now 10 years, and we've won so much together that it feels like weird if me and her would be not in the same team. Like it wouldn't be us. So I mean, I made the switch not only because of zAAZ, obviously. It was many things. Like I was getting burnt out of Valorant, so, and I miss CS a lot. We had been talking about Impact ever since it started, so yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll dive into all of that when we get deeper into the podcast. But that's all the latest, goss. So now we wanna hear about the history of you two because you're returning to the scene. It's been a little since you've been here. There's a lot of new fans, a lot of new people that want to know all about two legends of the game. So starting with you, zAAZ, I want to know how you got into Counter-Strike.
Well, I do have 6 brothers, and they were all playing.
That helps.
Yeah, and it was actually one of my brothers who got me into CS. He was really good, especially on AMAP. So I was always like sitting and watching him, and I got very interested in like trying out the game. And as soon as I tried out the game, I got stuck.
Was it obsessive?
100%. Like it was so much fun, you know. Like the whole neighborhood also played it, you know. Like all the guys in my class played it, and so it was more like a, you know, a social thing to do, you know, like hang out with friends, play with them, and with my brothers, and yeah.
Did you, when you started, let's ask you, because you started playing a long time, like approximately around the same time I started. How was it? Did you feel it was weird because you're a woman? Or was everyone just because it's your local area? Like how did the guys treat you? Did they treat you any differently?
No, I mean, they did in the start because they were kind of surprised that, you know, a girl playing CS, that it's not for girls, you know, because it's so man's dominated, you know. But they got actually used to it because, you know, I proved them wrong. I had to win against them all, so, you know, to make it like normal, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I never felt like treated like wrong in a like in a wrong way, you know. Like it was fine. It wasn't like I think it also depends that I was always together with my brothers playing, so
Your 6 brothers.
they couldn't be that toxic, or you know, like of course I had to do with a lot of toxic guys too. Like I was always sitting like on an internet cafe playing like CS, and I always had like an idiot coming in, turning off my PC just to like, you know, fuck with me, you know. But I mean, I always learned like one thing that I learned is to always ignore haters and people who wants like bad things towards you. So yeah, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah. Brilliant. I grew up in a very inclusive little town up in the north of Norway, where it didn't matter. Like, if you are a girl, you could go to the skate park, you could go play football with the boys. Like, there wasn't really any very defined gender barriers between activities. Everyone just do whatever we want, and I don't think that I would start playing if I hadn't had that around me.
Yeah. And also, like, I felt like more hate online than in my own city, you know. Online there is always like, it was always a lot of people who wrote so much shit about
Yeah.
you. And like I always said, like, even though like you have like the best confidence in the world, you will still be affected by reading this shit, you know. So the best way is to just focus on yourself and ignore the haters. Like, there is no point you like of sitting and reading all this kind of shit, because it will affect you at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mute the chat. Don't look at Twitch chat.
Put
HLTV
HLTV in
forums.
sports mode.
Goodbye. We don't
Honestly,
care.
like, I still until today never read the shit.
I think that's a smart decision.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating to read it, and if there's negative comments about people that you care about, or people, for example, for me and Lucy, we think of all the teams, all the players in Impact. You're our children, so we're gonna take care of you and, you know, back you up and hype you up. So
Yeah.
it just very angers me to still see it's 2023 and still see people, trolls on the internet, just comment about stuff they have no idea about.
I think it will always be like that. You just have to accept it. I think if you accept it, it makes it easier for you, you know? Like, because no matter, like, not only in CS, whatever you do online, it will always be haters there. Like, no matter what, you know? Like,
I think the best way is just to find something that you can deal, like a way to deal with it yourself. Like, if it's not looking
Yeah.
or not like even responding or not even
Exactly.
reading or not even taking it in, you will never like notice it in that way, and it will not affect you. And I think that like it's really bad that it has to be that way. But if it's been like this since the internet came up almost,
Yeah.
then when is it gonna change? You know, like, it doesn't really. For me, it's just better to not look. Like, I stopped reading HTV as soon as my name blew up after that Kenyan 1v1, because that was like when I was on daily HTV threads. Like, it was a thread about me every fucking day, and I just like, it was always about if I'm good or not, if I look good or not, and it was just all these things like constantly about me. And it was really bad things, it was really cute things, but it was such a big mix, and you always read the worst.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, I'll stop. I'll just stop read like whatever is like connected to my name, whenever it's like our match page, whatever it might be. I just don't read it. And it helped me a lot. Like, I stopped caring so much about people's opinions.
Yeah, I think many people just should have been raised better. No offense, but if you're going back to talk about your early teams, zAAz, you were playing with the Swedish team and finished, and then you were at ESWC with them, and we won the Swedish qualifier, beating zAAz, made it to ESWC, and then you kind of went into zAAz. How did this whole thing happen? Because unfinished wasn't that wasn't like, you were not supposed to beat zAAz 16 to
No, we were
zAAZ
the
2 to
underdogs. Yeah,
yeah.
we were the underdogs. I don't actually remember, because I remember I was 14 years old, and that day we beat them, I turned 15. I don't remember that much from that day, but I remember we beat them, of course.
Yeah.
And that was actually my goal, because first time I saw Les Souls, it was, I think, when I was 13 or 12 years old. And they were boot camping in my city, actually. And I was
So you
like,
saw them in real life?
yeah, I saw them in real life before I even played them. And I played them then after like 3 years, I played them. But
Mhm.
that was the first time I saw that it was actually like a competition, you know? Like, I'm like, what? Do they have teams competing in CS? I'm like, okay, shit, I want to be like them. You know, I want to beat them.
And and after you beat them, you're gonna join them.
Yeah. But I remember I didn't join the full lineup because I remember it was Cassidy
Yeah.
in the lineup, Aurora,
Yeah.
right?
Danish Aurora.
Yeah. I don't.
Miss Hyper.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, back to the question. I remember we won that qualifier, and I didn't go to ESWC that year because my father didn't allow me. And then the next year, I went to ESWC.
Yeah.
The first time, 2008.
Yeah,
Because I beat them 2007.
Yes.
And 2008, I went to ESWC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that. I was meaning to ask because on your merit list, you qualified for ESWC in 2007, but you didn't go.
No.
And then you went next year with zAAz.
Yeah.
And then you were with Pink Cynic. And then finally you got signed to Fnatic. How big was that?
It was pretty big back then. Like, I don't think there was like any other female team signed to such an org, like such a big org back then. Honestly, like I cannot remember so much from that time. Like it was 2009. Like we talked 2010. We're talking like
2010.
how many years? My God, 13, 14 years.
Yeah. It's been like half your life ago.
Yes,
basically.
indeed. You know, nothing matters that at that time for me. I just wanted to play and win. You know, like I didn't. That was the only thing I wanted. Like I just wanted to win. I didn't care about the prize money. I didn't care about anything. I just wanted that first place all the time. Like I was just like that was the only goal I had.
So how did you know, like back in those days and when you're obviously quite young, like how did you know that you would be good enough to compete at that level? Or is it just like you just knew that you had it in you?
I mean, I was also playing with a lot of guys back then on my free time. And I got it kind of confirmed by them and also my brothers because they were also good. And they always told me like, you cannot play with us until you deserve playing with us. You know, like you have to deserve playing with us. And I had to like fight for it and grind and grind and grind and grind. And I remember back then I was watching Forrest and I wanted to play like him. I wanted to like be like him, you know, aim like him, the mechanics and all these kind of things. And that was like kind of my goal. And yeah, I mean, I heard from a lot of people that I was talented. And when I was 13, I remember like a female team contacted me back then saying that you're very talented and you know you shoot a lot of heads. Because that was the only thing I could do, you know, like shoot heads, sign up, go out and shoot heads, and I did it. But yeah, I mean, I got it confirmed from many people, honestly, and I also felt good, of course.
Do you have any thoughts on how one can compare the whole ecosystem for women's CS from 1.6 and early CSGO and now?
I compare what exactly?
Well, we had tournaments. We didn't have many tournaments, but for example, ESWC, it was a lot of teams.
And
then we had
also
organizations.
Like the organizations that are involved, the tier is just like the structures that are in place now compared to like when you started out.
I mean, it's nothing compared to today, honestly, because you had a tournament once per year, you know, back then. Like some people played the tournament and then came back home, had like 3 months of vacation, you know, 4 months of vacation. Some people didn't even play for 6 months. And then when ESWC got near, you know, like it's close to play, everyone started grinding again, you know. But today is like it's different, you know, like there is a bigger competition today. Like, go to a tournament, you win, you come back, you have to start grinding again because teams will catch up, you know? And back then it wasn't, people didn't have, or players, teams didn't have this kind of mentality. It wasn't the same as today. Today you have like you have CS as a full-time job, right? Back then you didn't. Like, I remember myself, like when I was 17, I used to work, come back home and grind CS. Today you actually have it, like your organization helps you, they support you with salaries, etc., you know? So it's a huge difference, of course.
Yeah, makes sense when we look at the Wikipedia as well, and the amount of events. But I think that's a nice little picture on your side. I feel like Juliana's been sitting here silent, and it's her time to have the spotlight. So I'm going to
Wait,
pose.
what? Good morning.
Welcome to the podcast. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Same question I want to put forward to you. How did you get into Counter-Strike?
Well, I have two brothers.
This is a running theme.
No, but yeah, I have two brothers, and they were a lot into gaming when we grew up. My dad always made sure for us to get like the latest, like when the Nintendo 8-bit came out and like all of these things. Like, he's always been providing. He's been into technology throughout our entire like childhood, and my brother one day was playing it, and I was like, oh, I want to try this. I was like 11. And then I just kept on grinding, and he stopped, and I just kept on. I loved it so much. Like, it was the best game out of all the games I was playing as a kid. So, yeah.
And I guess I'm also curious then, like, how did you know at what point you were like, yeah, I'm actually quite good at this and I could do something more with it?
Honestly, it took quite some time for me, because I think that you have the people who are like talent, and then you have people who are talent but hard workers who needs like to work a lot to get good, you know? And I think I'm one of those that I need to work really hard to become really good at CS, for example. So I think for me it took a while to actually reach a level where I'm like, oh shit, I'm actually good. Because I was also, but it was so hard because I had nothing to compare to, right? I was playing in like male teams all the time until like I was 17. I think I was invited, or 16, 16, I think I was invited to my first like female tournament, and I had never played with women before. And I think that was DreamHack 2010.
That's correct.
Yeah.
DreamHack on tour, IO female all-stars at DreamHack Winter.
Yeah, it was so random because it was like, I think it was two girls that I had met from a public server. So it was like, they just wrote me randomly, I think, when I was at DreamHack already that year. And this tournament was happening there. And suddenly I'm at DreamHack and they come up to me and they're like, hey, can you come please play with us? Like, we need a last. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, that's amazing though.
Yeah. So that's like kind of how I got into the female scene, because I was mainly playing with like males all the time. I barely knew there was a women's scene. Like, I didn't, until that day kind of, I knew that there was like a tournament. It was so new for me. And then it's just crazy how things happened.
And
so it took me a while, I think. The first time it got to me, to answer the question because I forgot, the first time I realized that I'm this good, like I'm one of the best good, you know, that was when I proved myself at Copenhagen Games 2013. Yeah, I was like in the rating level as zAAz and Mitsu, who was like the two best female players back then, and I was right there with them, like topping all the scores. So that was like the pro like, how do you say, the faucet?
That was the
answer.
Yeah, that was the reason. That just solidified your idea. You could see the number, the stats. You could look at it. It was a very visual thing to, and kind of you had evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like,
But-
I think that was needed for me to realize how good I was.
And the team that you competed with at Copenhagen Games, that was Druids. And then you actually went to ESWC for your second time.
And won against me.
And you exactly.
I was like, I've heard this so many times.
Here we go again.
Always mentioning it. Always like, I won against zAAz.
Yeah.
I won against zAAz.
Finally, someone else said it and not me.
Yeah, but I actually, this is a question I've written down to ask you, because that was so early in your career, and it was your first victory on LAN. And
yeah, it was my first IGL tournament too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you remember that experience?
Yeah,
How
100%.
that was for you?
I would love to explain it, because
Of course,
I
it's one of her biggest experience. Come on.
It was so crazy because, for so long, me and Zainab had been like, I think that exact year. So Copenhagen Games 2013, we did not know each other, me and Zainab, at all. But we played draw in that group stage, which was so important because we didn't lose. And that was against Alternate, who was like the best, right?
Yeah.
And I remember after that, I was like, I got so much confidence from that game. And when we formed our team for ESWC, I was forced to take on the IGL role because we kicked Helros, who was the in-game leader. And I was like, 19? I had no idea about in-game leading or whatever. I was so fresh and young still, but I just took on it, went to ESWC. And after we had such a good showing in group stage, and then went on to like smash the next team I think it was in the semis or quarters, whatever. I think it was straight to semis. I can't remember. And I was just like, after beating zAAz, it felt so good because me and her had been playing for like 3 months together, off like on the side, me and her, like, as friends basically. And it was just like, okay, finally, maybe I can get her on my team. That was like my thought. But I was too shy to ask. So we had a common friend.
Yeah.
So we had a common friend, and one day we were mixing after ESWC, and he just goes like, "Why don't you guys just make a team? You're the best players in the fucking scene. Like, just make a team." And we're like,
which
yeah,
friend
sure.
which friend was this?
Oh, we don't have to name the person.
No name.
No name.
Yeah.
zAAz, what did it feel like for you losing to Juliano?
I mean, wasn't Juliano, like, it's just the loss, I hate losing. For me, it's terrible to lose. Like, I cannot describe the feeling when I lose. Like, it wasn't the first time either, losing to Potter and Miss Harvey a lot back then too, but a loss is always like hard. It wasn't anything towards Juliano
No, I
or
think
whatever.
I was so new as well to the scene, so it's not like she had something to gain from winning against me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There was no like rivalry between us at all.
Yeah,
so.
because we were like grinding more together before ESWC than with our own team. Like going to bed at 11 a.m., waking up at 7 p.m. and sometimes didn't even sleep for 24 hours. Like it was like a full grind, like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The friendship had already started to form.
Yeah.
Exactly. So maybe it hurt a little less because it was your friend who beat you.
Everything has a meaning, like.
Exactly.
Look at it. Like, we started playing together 3 months before ESWC. Juliano wins against that. And then we start a team together, right? Like, after the ESWC.
Yeah. She was also convinced to join another team. Like, why would she? She was in the best team already with Alternate. So, like, obviously, it was a better reason for her to leave them and join me.
Yeah.
So, it all has a purpose, I think.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
100%.
And it's funny that Juliano, that you said that you kicked Helros, because guess who was my first Inge breeder on?
Hello.
I think if she hadn't been if she hadn't been my Inge breeder, because she's out there with the whip, you know, so you listen to her, but she's really smart. She knows so much. So if you can handle having her on your team, I think I learned so much from her, and I don't think I would ever be any good player if I was not so fortunate to have her on my team. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but I have a vivid memory of me and you and like Device or someone else sitting in a taxi because we were going to some party, and then
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
this
yeah. In
big
Paris.
discussion. Yeah, and we had this big discussion about how it didn't make any sense that there was like no women playing with the guys in the mixed teams. And that we
What?
were all both, yeah, we were both like so eager, like we should be playing with the guys. How it doesn't make any sense. We should be playing with the guys, and we're just having this debate in the taxi, heading over to like the after party or something. And I
Mhm.
remember that just having that conversation with another girl, it made me respect you so much. And yeah, it was always like fun times. But that we talk about after, because you mentioned this. So you linked up together after ESWC in 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Bad Monkey Gaming. You also played a tournament with the guys. Some of our lovely guys. And but then you had a fantastic career together in CSGO. So
Mhm.
how many, do you know how many championship titles that you collected together as
Together?
yeah,
20? 21?
21?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the I
Oh.
haven't checked it, but that's a
21.
lot.
I've only won
Mhm.
one without sign up. No, so it should be 22. 22
Mm,
together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And
It's
that's only
insane.
first placements. We also have second and
Mm.
third placements
Mhm.
together.
Oh,
It's
I have
even more.
many second places back in 1.6. Don't worry. Yeah.
Which era was your favorite?
Which what?
Which era of
Oh,
CS:GO was your favorite? Maybe Zainab has an idea.
I can say that
Yeah.
my favorite was probably. Oh, it's hard to say, but I think during the time when we were down so bad after making a player swap and we came like last at a 4-team invited tournament in Portugal, and we had to like grind our way back, and we formed a new team with Petra, Krasi, Misa, and me and zAAz.
Hmm.
And we lost, and we went like from third place to second place, and then we went to DreamHack and we won like the first ever 100K tournament.
The showdown.
And yeah, and that was just such a redemption, you know, from what we had gone through, and how everybody was like, after like two event failures, I would say, we're not reaching the finals at least. But we came to finals on the second, even though going into DreamHack, everybody was like doubting us, you know, as if we hadn't proved already so much. And for us, it was like, at least for me, I can't speak for Sina, but I think for all of us, it felt like some sort of like, look, you can never count us out, no matter what. Like, even if we have a rough year or a rough couple of months, we will always make sure to come back. And I think that was like kind of my best moment of CS.
The time you were down bad and then you
Yeah.
came back. Comeback was real. You proved
Yeah.
yourselves once again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say actually it wasn't when we were playing together. I think I can't remember the year. Maybe it was 2012. I think it was 2012 when I played for Alternate Attacks,
Hmm.
and it was ESWC. We were leading in the final. It was 1-1 maps, and the third map we were leading. I think it was 13-2, and they won. And it was
Oh.
like, for me, it was like, I remember I was thinking during that match, I'm finally winning versus them,
Mm.
you know? And
That was Miss Harvey.
yes,
Harvey's
and
team.
losing, yeah. I can't remember if it was 12-3 or 13-2. It was one of them. But it was the hardest loss I've ever been through. And after that loss, I actually learned so much from it, because literally anything can happen. Like it also taught me in a positive way, you know, like even though we are leading or we are down to, like, let's say 14-1, I still believe we can come back. Like it gave me, you know, like a boost, like a better mentality to the game, you know, because literally anything can happen. So I would say, like, it was a negative way, in a negative and positive way, I would say. It taught me a lot. It did.
Well, perhaps one moment in CSGO, Juliano, for you that might be a bit on the lower end. I'm curious if you could talk through us a little bit your decision to swap from CSGO to Valorant.
Well, there was a lot of reasons, actually. There was not just one reason, like, hey, we're tired of CS, let's move on. It was more like we had nothing to play for more than ESCA at that moment. And it was so dead with tournaments. Like, we hadn't been on LAN since like 2019. It had been like almost 2 years, right? If I'm not mistaken. 1.5 maybe, since we had been to LAN, since we had any like actually proper tournament. There was no plan for the whole year that was coming up for any tournaments. And we had just qualified to ACA main, but it was just like, it's also this part that we were signed to an org, you know, and like all these things that mattered, right? And they brought up one day like, hey, we've heard that this game is like blowing up, it's going to be huge, there's a lot of investment into it. And then we tried it. We liked it, actually. Like, we really liked it. All of us tried it on our spare time. And then the more we played of it, the funnier it was, because it was also a change from what we had been doing for so many years. Like, for me and Sana, we both played since we both were 11. And it was just like something different, because we had been going in this hamster wheel for so long. And then when nothing was happening and like tournaments were exploding in this game and it looked so fun, you know, we were like tempted, like, okay, let's try this. Fuck it, let's go for it. Let's take a gamble. In worst case, if we don't like it, we can always go back, you know?
Yay!
Like,
Yay!
yeah.
And here you are.
Yeah, and here we are. So that was like kind of the reason.
Yeah, but the thing is that you were not like, we try it, and if it doesn't work out, we're gonna come back. You both were just like, yeah, we're gonna try it, we're gonna nail it, we're gonna become champions, and then we are gonna come back.
Yeah,
That's
we
really
talked about
crazy.
that. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
we yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you say.
This is why we're so good together, me and Julia, because we have the same mentality. Like, if we get into a game, whatever it is, we will make it. Like, it's the only thing that matters is the first place. We only see us winning, you know, and we will fight for it. We will put a lot of time. We will do anything basically to do it. And this is why we've always been like the best duo, I would say.
Yeah, like, we've formed so many teams around me and her that has, I think almost every single team we've made with different players have won world championships or championships, and somewhat reached number one. And I think that was like, now we do it in a new game. Sure, we still had our old teammates with us who were really talented, but now making it to a new game and once again reaching first place. Like, what is this like secret thing that just makes us so good together, even if it's another game? Like, it was like some sort of a, what can we not do, you know? So it was fun. Yeah.
How is Valorant compared to CS? Do you have any like special insight? it's a lot the same with the
Do you want to take it, Sign Up, or should I?
Listen, do you want to hear when I started playing Valorant?
yeah.
Yeah, because we have very different experience.
Yeah. Tell
I mean-
us. Spill the tea. Or spill the city.
I mean, for me, it was actually very hard because it's completely different game. Like I wouldn't say it's the same. It's not
No.
even near CS, honestly. I don't know why it's called FPS game. No, I'm kidding. But no, but it was very hard. Like all the abilities that different agents has, and it was just like I felt so lost. Like I cannot even describe. There's like many clips of me from a friend who's like being clipping and like staying in an ult and dying in an ult, and like it was so hard. Like I think that like when it comes to like strategy, I think it's a bit harder in Valorant than CS, for example. So yeah, I mean, it is a big difference. Like, it's not the same game. It's not this like not even near. Like everything is completely different. Mechanics, movement, like everything is different.
Yeah, I agree. Like exactly what she said. Like tactically, it was a fucking dream for me as an IGL who, like, I have a lot of ideas, and for me to be able to express that in Valorant was like insanely fun. Like that's I think the part that I loved the most about Valorant was that I was able to finally show how smart I was in the server. Not that people would actually notice what. Like, because in CS you don't see the IGL calls or the IGL thinking, because you just see the player getting the 4K, but maybe the 4K was due to an IGL making an insane call, right? Or just an insane timing call or whatever it might be. And those are the things I'm good at. So I felt like for me, I was thriving more in Valorant because people would actually see like how good I was on that part, right? And that was like highlighted a lot from Valorant, because I made a lot of cool new ideas and strategies like outside of the complete meta that was like very highlighted, brought up a lot of like new ideas, and even like pro teams started like taking over what we were doing, which is very cool as a female team or game changers team. And it was just like these things for me were the most fun. The game itself, but it's a good game, but it doesn't give the same satisfaction like CS does at all. Like going from CS to Valorant for me was really easy because I used to play Heroes of New Earth, Dota 2, like all of those games. So for me, like having skills and abilities was like a walk in the park. Like that was nothing for me. I was used to those things, but it was super hard to actually create a team and become good in the minor micro strategies, I would say, which was so much fun. But CS is just way more fun playing casually, playing as a team. You're way more self-sufficient, which I also like, because playing casually, sometimes having to depend on someone who does not understand what the fuck they're doing is just a killer for me. So yeah, it's
yeah, that's me every time I matchmake with Lucy. It's not true.
That's true.
No, Lucy is carrying. Lucy's carrying me.
I saw your 4K USP earlier. It was pretty good.
Thank you.
We'll
I would never have gotten that if you hadn't gone and peeked and died.
Yeah, professional Vader.
At least you're trying, Lucy.
Yeah, at least I'm trying. Yeah.
But literally, literally after I quit, I retired when Impact last year, after Impact was launched, and then I couldn't touch CS for like half a year. I couldn't touch it. Yeah, I had to just leave it. And then we were at the tournament being talent together, and then Lucy was like, "Do you want to play Wingman?" And I'm like, "Lucy, I haven't touched CS in like 6 months." And Lucy's bringing me on with Face It, and like, "Hey, we can play casually for fun." And,
she can't play casually for fun. That's what I've learned. That's not possible.
You just want to win.
Competitive.
Yeah, you just want to win.
Indeed.
Today we played when we were supposed to see you guys earlier today. We played instead, and we tied both the games. Oh!
Yeah.
We're doing demo review later.
Yes, we need
Yeah,
it.
we better.
Yeah. So,
I'm curious because obviously you play both titles. I mean, how easy is it to swap between them?
It's easier to switch from CS to Valorant than from Valorant to CS,
Why's that?
for sure. Valorant totally kills your mechanics, like your movement, your shooting, and the ability of that, because you can just run and shoot, and you never have to think about your movement while shooting, which is like a killer. So we were all shooting really hard going from CS to Valorant, but going back to Valorant to CSGO, you had to relearn the fucking spray from start. Like, it was gone, completely gone.
did you still play some CS casually when you were grinding
No.
Valorant? You just left it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hard to combine two games because we practice
Yeah,
so
it
much.
is.
We've always been such a hardworking team that we'd spend 7 hours a day on playing. And if you want to go and play fun games, you would probably not choose a game that maybe affects your other game, right? You would play Dota or just something else that is on the side. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are asking, oh, you're not playing PUBG, oh, you're not playing Valorant. You can play any, you shall have no other FPS games than the one that you are trying to play and have a
Yeah.
career in. So for
I mean,
me,
you can, but
why would you try?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? It's just a liability more than it's a it's a con more than it is a pro, because you're gonna mess up your you're gonna maybe mess up your aim, mess up your mechanics. If you want to grind something, you grind that, and if you want
Yeah,
to
exactly.
chill, for me
It's
it was
it's a waste of time. It's better to just put
Yeah.
that time on the game that you're actually competing in, right? That's why
True.
I never touched any other games. Like I've always had it easy before, back in the days, to I always get stuck in games, but I love playing different games, but I stopped doing that as soon as I started competing. And I decided to put that time in CS instead of any other games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an all-in mentality, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause if you-
we're like that.
Yeah, because
Yep.
if you want to be number one, you have to put in the hours. You have to put in the work.
Yeah,
Can't go wasting time on Fortnite, for example.
exactly.
But why are people torturing themselves?
Well, I say the same about Valorant. You had obviously you did put in the hours, a very successful run in Valorant with the two of you on that team. You had 3 EMEA victories in a row. zAAz, you retired from G2 Goes and Valorant in May last year, and then a little bit later announced your return to CS. Could you talk us through a little bit about the decision to retire from Valorant and what that was like for you?
Well, the thing is, if I'm gonna be honest, I never felt the passion in Valorant. It wasn't my home, it's a fun game, but it's still not my thing, And at that time, I felt actually I was at that time when I retired from competing or Valorant. That was the time when I actually felt like I just got into the game, if I'm gonna be honest. Yes, but I didn't feel any passion for it. I didn't feel I wasn't grinding as much as the others, I wasn't playing on my free time. You could clearly tell that I didn't like the game as much as I like CS, CS is my home. It's a completely different thing. And at that time I felt okay, it was a lot of things also going on in my life, and I was okay, I want to do something else. I want to try something else, because I've been doing the same things for 20 years. I wanted to just make a change, and let's just try it. I'm gonna take the risk and just try it. If I don't like it, I'm just gonna come back. And I got pretty depressed, honestly, when I retired. I missed it so much. It's been like CS has been my life, you know, like
Mm.
competing has been my life, and I've been doing it for such a long time. And I remember like I wrote Julia, I called Julia like I think 2-3 weeks after, like telling her like I'm not sure if I actually made the right decision here. You know, like I told her like I'm feeling so depressed about my decision, and maybe it's just like that now, you know, maybe it's gonna get better with time. So I stopped like playing. I wasn't using my PC at all, like just to make it easier for me, you know. And then 2 months passed, and 3 months, 4 months, and I was feeling the same, you know. So I was like,
Mm.
fuck it, I'm gonna actually just come back. Like I'm not ready. I'm not ready to, you know, do something else. And I'll just come back to competing again, and I'm gonna do it in CS this time. Something I actually like love, and yeah, you get me.
I remember you were so worried as well, like, man, I just retired, I can't just come back. I was like, of course you can, who the fuck cares?
The fastest comeback ever. Yeah, but it was also like the reaction, you know, like the reactions of people. And I was just thinking like, fuck it, like I never cared about fucking people, you know, like I don't care. I'm just gonna do what I want to do, like what I love the most, and that's playing, competing. It is it's hard to explain, like it's this passion, like it's a different love, you know, like it's just hard. It's yeah, I mean, yeah.
You don't have to explain it to
to
me. I
you
get
feel
it.
me. You feel me.
Yeah, hence why I couldn't touch CS for 6 months. And I told it before as well. The reason I retired was that ESL Impact was launched, and I'm like, hey, I'm studying, I'm working, I can't go full time. I need to let the others do this because I'm not going to be able to put in the time that's required. So I might as well just retire.
Yeah.
But very happy. Now I have new coworkers. I still get to be involved. Lucy, and
That's
it's
great.
really good that there also are opportunities for women to have a career that is not as a player but on the talent side of things. And ESL Impact has absolutely what do you call it, facilitated for that pathway as well.
Yep. I'm happy for that.
So Julia, you were already then, you said, because sign up, you announced it in October, beginning of October.
in the start of September. I think it was 7th or 6th.
Pretty sure it was October 7th.
Really?
2020.
She's got the receipts, like in our shared document.
I have the.
Okay.
I have the.
Yeah, but
maybe it was the.
you waited a bit to announce
Yeah,
it.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
But I was.
But
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
already knew in
yeah.
September.
Okay. I mixed it up. I started playing in September, and I announced it in October. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and and then we know that Julia, you were kind of on board with that already in October, or was that a little bit later? Because I am
That was like around the time when we already had discussed it. Like I don't remember when Game Changers 3 was, but that was like during that event. I felt like this is not fun. I don't know what's missing, but I don't have the same passion. Like it was just gone. Like I could truly feel it during that tournament, because I remember how I was feeling, like that I didn't care how it went. You know, when you don't have this like, I'm gonna do everything to win. I was more like, well, whatever happens, happens, and it was just not fun. And I remember mentioning, like, doing that boot camp for the tournament. We placed second at that event, and that was right before Champions. Something was heavy in me, like I didn't recognize myself, the feelings I got from competing. So I told my management, and they were like, okay, you have to play champs though. Like we need you. And I was like, okay,
you literally just went on and won it as well. Like, no big deal.
Just the free race.
as the underdog too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah, but I think once I got that out of me, it was easy to just put everything to win game changers.
And once you won that, were you still like, yeah, I don't want to keep doing this? Like, you were still committed to Counter-Strike?
I was so much embracing the moment. That's why also I kind of cried when we won, because it was such a relief. Like, oh my God, I get to end this on a win. I've been like letting my teammates know that I'm about to leave, before the tournament. Everybody was aware, like it was like so many emotions. And then the fact that I was going to get back to something I enjoy, and that I get to live this moment of like winning actually world champions and then get the fuck out of there. It was like all of these things like coming to me. So I was kind of crying because of the reason that I do. This is my last time.
Yeah, and
here.
Yeah. I also remember zAAz was there in the studio and cheering for you guys.
Supporting.
Yeah.
In the G2 jersey and
for sure.
everything.
She was like one of the biggest reasons we were winning too. They were so loud there. Like she was there with my family and our friend Elsa, and they were screaming. Oh my God, we could hear them constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So still after retiring from the team, still after planning that you were gonna get back together,
she
play
still makes us
CSGO,
win.
she's still a key piece of the puzzle for your victory.
Loyal.
And then so because I remember we're friends on Faceit. I'm a kind of a stalker. I was looking zAAz, who you were playing Faceit with, and I saw you, Julia. I see everything. So I was hoping, and then you go and you win, and then I was like, oh, maybe not. And then I just saw a lot of Faceit, and I believe it was the day after, or December 4th, you sign up. You were responsible for tweeting out that you needed more players for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny. Unsigned female CSGO players, DM me please. And then signed the female CSGO players. You can also you can come to.
Yep. It was a lot of DMs, I can tell you that.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. And during all this time, I was in, but I wasn't allowed to like speak about it, mention anything, talk about that I was making a switch like until the day of the announcement. So I was waiting from December, like, okay, even before that, because I knew, but let's say after champs, I was already on the CSGO team. I signed the contract and all of that stuff. And then like I had to wait all the way until now, to this day, to actually even mention that I was coming back. And it was so hard. Like, I was looking for players. Nobody knew who. I was telling people I'm just standing in because they don't have a fifth. Like, there was like so many. Oh my God, it was so hard to lie to everyone.
Lying to everyone, literally.
All friends. Poor you. I feel bad for you. I had no idea. I was just like, yes, she's back. And then when you qualified to Impact, me and Lucy and Frankie, we were hanging out in London, and we were watching you. We were out in the pub, supposed to have party and drink, but what do we do? No, we are nerds. We just sit there and watch the qualifiers.
That's the right move.
Yeah. If you're passionate and care about something, it doesn't matter where you are.
And then you tweeted about it. We were like, oh no, we cannot retweet it. We cannot like it. We cannot say shit,
Yeah, we couldn't even like send a like. We were just like, fuck, hope no one sees it. But of course people did. They even were like, oh my God, I saw a tweet. You guys are back. You qualified. Are you playing CS? I'm like, no.
Sorry. We're just excited.
That was funny. Yeah. Vi had to spilla lite of the CTM. No, it was so exciting, and just a prospect, because when zAAz returned, we had a segment on the broadcast. Zainab has zAAz, the legend is back, you know. And then we're just like, of course, and Julia, it's looking like you're gonna come back. We're jumping on you, like, yeah, you have to. But in the end, you did make it back, and you did find and form a team. And one of the players is, of course, Krasi, who you
Yep.
did play with prior. Was she like a shoe-in for you from the very beginning?
Yeah. We said that if we were gonna like create a team from the scratch and not like steal any players, it would be with Kras.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because I think after you left for Valorant, did she play with you a little bit?
Yeah, in Valia.
Yeah, because then we saw her come back to like CS, but she didn't play at like much team CS. We barely saw her in any teams. She was, I think, standing in for someone. So, do you know anything why she just felt like?
I mean, she said now when joining, but also when leaving us, that we asked her actually if she is gonna keep on playing when she was kicked out of our Valorant team. She didn't like Valorant. She wasn't like enjoying it, so that's why she was removed. You could tell she wasn't passionate about it, which was fair enough. And she accepted it really good, like when we removed her from the Ghost squad. And we asked her, like, are you going to like keep playing professionally, or what's your plan, you know? And she said, I don't think I'll ever play in another team than you guys, because no one will come to your level. Which was sweet, right? And now when we came back, she confirmed it again. She's like, yeah, there's no team that's like you guys. Like, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know. She was also like, we were our first team, her first team. She was 16 when we picked her up, and she has no team experience besides us. And I think we kind of set the bar pretty high because of the way we work and how much knowledge we have as players too. You know, it's hard to get in newer teams nowadays. So I understand her, but I mean, it's good we're back, so she has a team now.
Yeah, no one could ever compete. So she just like, I'd rather play solo queue than to have to play with someone else.
I think I would have felt the same as her, honestly. Like, you're playing with the best team and then going, like, downgrading in all A's. It's just, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And your other two editions, I want to talk through each of them because I think it's really interesting. Manka, I kind of already knew because we've seen her in a few teams. She's been playing in ESL Impact already. How did you find her?
She actually contacted me on Twitter, on DM. And, you know, before, it was a lot of girls who contacted me on Twitter when I went out with and asked about the players. And Manka actually introduced herself to me on DM. And what I did back then, it was like, I check her profile, I check her Faceit, I download the demos, and I bot review before answering to see if she's interesting or not. And she was kind of interesting, and I contacted her back, and we said like, okay, let's mix together, you know, like, yeah, that was it actually. And we started playing together, Faceit with each other, and then
we were also practicing for Katowice qualifiers. Like, we had 4 days to play together before that qual. I had just gotten home from champs, and I didn't touch the game forever, and suddenly I have to jump into CSGO with like 4 days of preparation for the quals, which was not expected because the qualifier was moved. I think it was supposed to be in January, so we were pretty sure that we had time, you know, to go through champs, have at least a month, you know, to prepare something. But then it was like right before champs, we found out, well, here's a qualifier like a week from when I get home. So I got no break, nothing, just straight into CS, and we were cracking a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she seems like a great addition. I'm really glad that she's joined up with you guys. This is a very small question, but I was curious because on Thursday she was AWPing on Anubis and Overpass. Was that just because the veto was weird and like you didn't feel comfortable, or is she actually AWPing on some maps?
we're still trying to figure out the best roles for each map. We don't have a dedicated AWPer.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why we're trying to see what fits us the best, basically. So I'm AWPing on some maps, she's AWPing on some maps, and then we'll see in the future if we'll like put one full AWPer or what we will do.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited to watch.
Yeah.
And the player I'm really excited about, not that I'm not excited about the rest of you, but Kyosa is insane. I was so impressed by what I've seen from her in like every official so far. Seems like a fantastic like young talent to bring in. Did she just slide into your DMs? Like, how did you find her?
No, opposite. Like we slid into her DMs.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, imagine how many options we had, and we were like,
Yeah.
this girl is
How
so
did
good.
you know? Like,
Someone recommended her, like to Cressy. A friend of Cressy recommended her, and like basically told her like, hey, you should check Kiosk out, you know. And I remember we downloaded her VOD. We were VOD reviewing her, and she seemed interesting. And she's very talented, really fucking good.
is there
And
something?
this was so funny because like I was on vacation, okay, a planned vacation, because I didn't get to have any, not of the champs, not during Christmas, because I was just playing CS. Start of January, I was like, I have to get like a 1 week. That's it. Like, give me 1 week and I'll be back like full focused. And I was on vacation. We find this girl, Kyosa, and I'm like to the girls, like the weekend right before I'm coming home, I had been away for like 3-4 days. Please go like play a face it with her, like feel out how she is, make her feel comfortable, so she at least doesn't get thrown into like a prank with like 4 unknown people, you know, and get all this pressure on her and stuff. I want her to feel comfortable. So they went to play the face it with her. zAAz is like on Discord live streaming their pug. I'm in the sunbed watching this whole thing a full day. Like I couldn't even take vacation. It was just and me writing her, please spectate her when you're dead. What are you doing? And like oh, it was so funny.
Oh, that just screams dedication to me. Holy shit! That's insanity. Or it's just what you need to in order to become the best.
Yeah,
100%.
we've always done this.
Like you cannot imagine how many bots I was watching. Also during like Julia, she was also busy with the Valorant thing, you know. And I was like watching, sitting at home, like watching every girl who wrote me, like at least maybe like, I'm not even kidding, 40 players or something like that, just watching everyone, and I only answered the interesting ones.
Yeah.
Like,
so if you were one of those people or those women that was not getting called back from zAAz,
No.
at least you know that she actually did her due diligence. So you should play better, face it.
Be more
basically.
interesting.
Yeah, just get good, okay?
communication is very important. Is the key.
Is there something like, because obviously Kios is quite young, like, and you guys are veterans, is that also part of the decision making? Like, it's good to get like some young talent in that you can, I guess, mentor and shape?
Yeah, partly that, I think, because like we've always said throughout our years, like before the Valorant time, that it was very hard when we were getting older players, because everyone had like developed to a certain point, but they didn't want to like switch up their mindset towards certain things, which was very hard to cooperate with, especially when you have like 2 really strong voices like me and zAAz are. We have gone through it all. We know what it takes. We know the mentality. We know all these things, and it would happen that we would get into teams with players who didn't want to like learn more. And we always said like younger players they're formable, shapeable. Like they will take in what you say mostly, and actually want to become better and learn and listen to what you have to say, because like that's really important when building a team. You need to have stronger voices than others. Everybody can't be that strong voice, because as long as everyone like wants to learn, obviously it can work, but there will always be like, it's always good to have somebody who's like more closed up, focused on like just winning and becoming better, and be that like we've always had that balance in all our teams, with like the more quieter players, the more vocal players, and find a balance between that. So like I think that was partly good, but in Kyosa's case, like what we were so shocked about was she had game sense, she had insane mechanics, she had such a good like understanding, map awareness, that you normally don't see from someone with her amount of hours. She has played like what in total 4,000 hours in CS, which is not a lot.
Talented.
Yeah, super talent. We were like, we have to get her.
A raw talent.
But especially like you also give opportunity to like girls who's not been like seen, you know. It's not always about like, okay, she has a name, let's take her, you know. You know what I mean? Like you also give these kind of opportunities. Like Krasi, for example, she like before us, she didn't play with any other team. Like we were also like FUT reviewing her through Faceit.
Yeah.
You know, and look at her today. She has a lot of experience, you know.
Yeah.
So it's also very good to look like there is other girls. Like I've seen other girls who's actually really fucking good. They don't have a team. You know, it's always about the names. Okay, she's been playing that much and blah blah blah. Explore, go out and actually like watch their streams, watch their faces if you really want like good girls, because there is a lot of good girls out there who's actually really good.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, another example of that is, for example, Kat, when she was picked up by Nima Galaxy, she was just playing Faceit. Playing Faceit, streaming
But
Faceit.
that is how we start.
3.5 kilo, just streaming Faceit. Faceit grinding every day, all day. And with, we really liked NIP's pick up, Polly. She's also so young, 16, or she turned 17.
17, yeah.
Completely unknown to most of us. Like, where did you find her? That's so amazing that you give the young talents that deserve the shot, that you actually give them the opportunity instead of just
100%.
instead of just picking names from like the best teams or your competition.
Yeah, and I do think there is needed for a balance too. Like if you get a full young roster, they're not gonna know what it's like to handle defeats, to handle things going against you, to like know how to establish a good game, right? Like form a team, how you should communicate, like all these things is something that takes a lot to learn. And I think like because we were those who were like making a team and creating like strategy and team play, and nobody taught us that. We had to learn ourselves and teach ourselves as a team that during the time. And now you get in, if you get into like a team with more veterans, you will learn that much faster, and that will also make you a much better player much faster. So I think it's like it's good to have a mix between experienced and unexperienced players, because you get a really good balance with new thinking, but also like this, like the bridge to keep it all together, I think.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I agree 100%.
Thank you.
It's important, so important that we don't lose, because when we lost we lost so much experience. It's like all our XP we went from level 20 to level 5, like, but now you're back. Now all your experience and all those things that you've learned throughout your careers, you can now bring it into the next generation of Counter-Strike players, which is amazing. And you also brought back Jumpy as your coach. How did that happen?
Well, he was a free agent. He tweeted about it actually, and we were still like trying to find a coach. We weren't satisfied with the coaches or the interviews that we already had with a few coaches, and I told him like we would like you to coach us, and then G2 interviewed him, and got signed
And
instantly.
the thing is that we have always wanted Jumpy. Like Jumpy was our first coach in CSGO, and he was so good. Like, which is also crazy because I have known Jumpy since I was like a little kid. I was like 14, 15 or something. We were playing on public servers. That's how I got to know him. And he was the one who was like helping me with settings in 1.6. Like actually, like I saw him play. He was playing in Meet Your Makers, I think back then, or I don't know if that was like right after or during. I can't remember, but it was something like that. Like and he like was the first pro I got to know and get to play with, and now we're working together like 15 to 16 years later. Like it's insane. And he was our first coach. Now he's back to coaching us, you know, after being through like so many good teams. And it's just so crazy how like the paths crosses with you. And yeah, we've always wanted him, and then suddenly he was a free agent. We're like, G2, you have to like
Run.
sign this guy.
Run.
Just
Give him
walk
whatever
and
he
run.
wants. Run.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But also like he's coming back to us when he's like he gained so much experience. Like
yeah,
it's
because he
insane.
was coaching. It was a Fnatic is coaching. He did some coaching in Valorant as well. But
Yeah, exactly.
he had some crazy good teams that he was coaching
Yeah.
in CS.
Yeah,
And
he
now
left
it's
us for
you.
them. So
Yeah. How dare he?
yeah.
Yeah, but he's back where he belongs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And since in your absence, that time that you've been gone, the game's changed a little bit, you know, in that time. We've had, you know, Ancient and Anubis. I think Ancient came in kind of as you were leaving. The orb's been nerfed. There's grenades that you can drop now. The M4 has changed. You know, how much does it feel different to since you left?
I think that you really quickly got into the nade dropping and that stuff. I think because the fact that we were in Valorant where there was like way more things to keep track of. Going to CS tactically, like dropping nades was nothing. You had like
it
1
was
million
literally
abilities
nothing.
to keep track of in Valorant. So like, and combinations and all that stuff that now you don't have to like, yeah, it was just simple, I think. I liked it because it added a bit more flexibility and stuff. So yeah.
On the tactical side of things.
And also
nice.
about the maps, for example, about the new map, like in Valorant, it was a new map every second. I don't know.
And a new agent.
All the time, so it was
week.
nothing. You know, like you had to adapt to the new map instantly, and you know, so it wasn't hard at all, honestly.
But you're not adapting to Ancient.
I think it was good. No, thank
Sorry,
God.
What did you say?
You're not adapting to Ancient.
Maybe. No.
I mean, to be honest, nothing against Ancient. It just randomly happened that we didn't have time to go through it because we've just been a team for what, like I think now it's like 8-9 weeks.
Yeah,
like 2 months, barely, and we had like imagine how many things we had to like start over, like first forming a team, us learning everything over again, getting used to the game again, the thinking, the calling, the how to rotate, and then at the same time form a team. Like it was so much hard work for us, and it still is because we're such a new team. I am like actually shocked that we have gone this far up in like our development this quick, because I was expecting months. And we have been a team for only barely 2 months ago. We were like, who should we sign? Like we didn't even have 2+. Like it's crazy. So
yeah, and do you reckon, because you managed to qualify through the first qualifier for the Impact season 3, and but you see that there is increased competition compared to when you were playing CSGO. You were like the best team, and that was very few teams who could actually challenge you for the top. But now I feel, and we can see it across all regions, that everyone has developed, everyone is putting in the work, everyone is putting in hours, everyone's grinding, and that skill gap between top and bottom is closing in. So
Yeah.
if we are taking away, besides Enigma Galaxy, who is the best team, who else are you looking at to be like the main threats for you guys?
Should I start? Well, I think I would say Navi, honestly, because I feel like I've been watching them, and I will also been watching Nigma, and I think when it comes to individual players, I think Nigma has better players than Navi, but Navi has more structure and better team play. So I would say Navi actually. We actually played them.
Oh yeah, you did.
We
did.
actually played them already, and they won 2-1. But it was also like for us, for being like a team for
Back then, only 3 to 4 weeks.
You
exactly
almost beat them as well.
and we're almost beating them. I think we lost like 5 1v1s or something like that
on the city side of Inferno.
Yeah, the score would have looked differently, but you know, for me it makes me like think like we can beat them in a few months. Like we just need to gain experience as a team, because we have like 0 experience right now and the roles are not correct, etc etc. Once we like figure that out, I think we can beat them actually. Like we can even beat Nigma and Navi.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure about that.
I think like as always, it was the same in Valorant. We came from being the best CS team, undefeated on a we hadn't lost a single match against any team for over a year, 1.5 years, I think. And it was just like, for us, it was more like, it takes time. We were losing quals, like quarters here, there, like we were not doing well the first months. But then once everything clicked, we started winning, and it just takes time. Like it takes time to build a functioning team. Like the first few months are very hard, and it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I think that we had our first official match, like besides the qualifier, but real official match against Navi. And that was, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the best team we could face. Because looking at, like Zainab said, like the way they play compared to Nigma is very freestyling. They don't have a lot of structure in their play style. And for us, it's always been easier to face a team who has less structure than a team who has a lot of structure. So for us, it was like a challenge to go up against Navi, because we saw that they had a lot of structure. And I would say they were for sure the better team when we faced against them. Like hats off, like they played really good. But I would say that like if Inferno wouldn't have won, like they wouldn't have won all those 5 1v1s. It was 4 in a row, and then it was one more like later on. There was like crucial rounds. That map would have looked way different, and I think it would have even been OT or even us winning that map. And we had a really slow T start. Once we figured out, like they were up like 6-1. Once we figured out how they were playing, we were winning round by round. And I think that facing them again in a few months, when we actually have like a real team, that I would call it, it would be way different for us. So I'm excited to see what happens with Navi for the future, to be honest, because like Zainab said, they have like a weaker team than Nigma in individuals, I would say. But as a team itself, they're probably the strongest team right now to beat. And I was also really impressed by Angels. It's like I've played close games against teams that shouldn't be close games, but against them, like I really felt like they did have a plan. Like they knew what they were doing a lot of times, and they really know how to play out time and utility well. But that was also something we figured out eventually. So yeah, I think we just need time to play these teams and get to know their play style and how they like to play, because the more you learn that, the easier it is for me to read too. So I think all these games is just more for experience for us, and from each game we will grow. and we'll see who becomes the best. I believe Navi will soon take like over as one of the best teams. They still are, but I think they will. I think a lot of teams will pass to that high level soon.
Yeah, the match I was actually thinking of that you got coming up is against 9 Pandas. So I guess I also see as quite a similarly very well structured team. So I think that's going to be an interesting one. I'm curious how you're feeling about that match actually, because that's your next official, I think.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident. We've had more time now to like get together more as a team. Still not fully there, but we've like, without spilling too much, know that we can beat them. So we'll see.
Okay.
But right now we have like a bit of, I would say, like a struggle because Manka is a bit sick. She's at the hospital.
Oh
Yeah.
no, is she
So,
okay? Is she gonna be okay?
I think so. Like we'll find out tomorrow. She'll find out more, and she would probably be released. So hopefully we get back to like grinding and stuff soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah, she was feeling very sick. She actually got hospitalized after the game that we had against Angels. Yeah,
She
she was.
sat in it feeling so sick that she had to go to the hospital right after.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then surely you have found someone who's as dedicated to this as the two of you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she did great still by being really sick. So.
Yeah, you've obviously got a really good group of players. And you mentioned a little bit kind of about the goals. And obviously the end goal is to be number one, I assume. But do you have like kind of set expectations of like when you want to be at different stages? Like, you know, for instance, we want to play at the next LAN event. We want to, you know, place top in the group, et cetera, et cetera. Or are you just kind of taking it as it comes?
I mean, we always want to place first place, and you know, we always want to make it. But you know, we're such a new team. We're a team from scratch. Like I don't expect us to do the best right now. You know, like it will come with time, and we experienced this before. Both me and Julia, like we've been in teams where we started a team from scratch and we almost came last, you know, in tournaments or qualifiers, and then the next tournament or qualifier we ended up being first, you know. I think we just need time to grind and gain experience,
find the right roles, and you know, like
exactly.
A team, like a good team is not always like about the best individuals, all that stuff. It's also about, you know, finding a team that actually has a good synergy, because you can have 5 of the best players in one team. If you don't have a synergy, you will not like go that far. And yeah. As far as I know, there's some teams who have a bit of struggle with that right now.
Yeah.
But not you.
But not us.
But not you, no. It sounds very, very good. I'm really excited to see how far you can go. Not only in women's CS, but in CS in general. And particularly when CS2 is coming out this summer. That's going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
And new motivation. It was about time, maybe.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. Us coming back. New game, you know, new CS coming out.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess, speaking of timing, we're getting on with this. So we're going to go into our final little segment, which is Hedje's Teatake. Take it away.
Teatake. It's basically like, you know, if you're playing CT and the bomb has been planted, then it's time to do the retake. But we're not doing that here, but it's the Teatake, and it's quick, rapid-fire questions. So let's start with Julia. How many hours played have you in CS?
14K.
Sign up. How many hours played do you have in CS?
10K, I think.
10K.
Yeah.
Sign up. What's your faceit, Elo?
Eesh, let me check it.
Do you remember yours, Julia?
I think it's 3000.
Right now, 2.8 maybe.
And Sign up. What's your favorite map?
Favorite map? Train.
Julia, what's your favorite map?
Train.
Well, which map are we removing from the map pool next?
Vertigo.
Overpass Vertigo-ish.
And then what map is going to return? Say it
Train.
again there. All right. Julia, favorite weapon in game?
Up, because it's so easy.
And the skin?
My old dear Medusa.
Oh, that's my favorite too. But I don't have it. Sign up. Favorite weapon?
AK-47.
And skin?
Fire serpent.
It's my. I have that. Do you want to borrow it or do you have your own?
I don't have my own.
Okay, I will put the name tag on it just as long as you remember that you borrow it from me, okay?
Okay.
Which weapon setup does not belong in CS? What weapon would you be happy to just be gone?
Negev.
Like
Because it's so fucking annoying. Oh my god. Especially on warm up when people start using it. Like volume 0.
all right.
Holy. Yeah.
What about you, Julia? Juliano, what do you think?
MP9/Mac10. I feel like it ruins CS a bit. But I'm an old schooler, okay? Back in the days, it was like MP7, if even that. Like you would
Yeah.
not like touch SMGs. So I'm
MP5
still
in
old school.
CS.
Yeah,
CS
MP5.
1.6.
Yeah,
MP5.
Yeah.
I still can't mix like MP9, MP7. It's like I always
Yeah.
like it's MP something. I don't
Yeah.
care. So Valorant or CSGO?
CSGO. Hello.
CSGO.
Is that even a question?
It is.
I like them both.
And final question: will you be champions in CS again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you too.
That's the tea take wrapped up. Thank you, Hedje, for the tea take. So which wraps up the podcast. Although I have one final question for each of you. I think we're going to make this a regular question we ask of our guests. But Juliana, you go first. I want to give you an opportunity to share some words of inspiration for any new players, young women out there listening to the podcast, you know, that might look up to you or, you know, want to be like you. Floor is yours.
I think the biggest thing is working on your confidence. If you believe in yourself in any scenario, you will make people believe in you. And I think that this is like something I've learned throughout the time, that having confidence and is a big strength that not a lot of people have. And it's something that you either have naturally or you really have to work on. And if you acknowledge that, you can do whatever you want.
zAAz.
Actually feel kind of the same. Like when it comes to competing, the confidence is so important. And work on it if you don't have it, because I always say, like, no matter what, like if you're the best player in the world and you don't have confidence, there's literally no point of competing, because everything is everything is mental, you know. And please ignore the haters online. Like, it's so important to do that, because if you're gonna focus on what people are writing, you're not gonna be able to focus on yourself, right? You just need to like accept that there is people like that out there, and just ignore them. It helped me when I was 16, 17. That's when I realized that, okay, the only key here to be the best and work on myself is to actually just stop reading shit online. Just do that.
Yeah. So confidence is key, and of course, if you are getting dragged down because you're reading a lot of negative comments about yourself, that's gonna kill your confidence. So it's all kind of connected in a way.
Yeah, and becoming a good team player is also really important if your goal is to compete, because it gives so much for you and the team if you learn all these things that is needed around, like as a team, in a team building. So take in criticism is really important.
Yeah, take it as a challenge.
I think that's an excellent advice, actually.
Yeah.
That you because if you want to improve, you will have to know what you can do better. And in
Yeah.
order to know what you can do better, you have to have someone tell you. And if you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to listen to them, then listen to that. Then what are you doing? Why are you?
You're not gonna get better. You're gonna
Mm.
stay on the same page, like on
Yeah.
page 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you both so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on and getting all of your insight across all the various topics we talked about. We went on pretty long for this one, but I think there was never 2 guests that deserved 2 hours of our time.
Oh shit, it's been 2 hours.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
there's a little break in there, but
2
that'll be
hours.
edited out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it.
No, it went
No, it
really
went fast.
fast.
Yeah, it's because
had
you're
fun.
it's so interesting to hear all
Mhm.
the stuff and all the questions. Imagine all the questions I've had for years, and I just want to ask you. And finally, I'm so happy.
Well, we'll get you back on after you win the next LAN. So
Yeah, you
we'll-
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make that promise. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna wrap it up now. So we're gonna do a little hearts. All right. Can you do the Zoomer heart?
No.
Oh my
You
god.
do like
I'm
this.
so
You do
bad.
like this. Do a peace sign, and then you just flip. You flip it, and then you keep the long fingers, and then you
Like
just
this.
yeah, you keep them tight, and then
Yeah,
you
you got
just
it.
yeah,
Okay,
you're doing it. Sign
I'm,
up is
I'm
not.
skipping
much
that.
for
Okay,
Zoomer.
do this sign up. Do this. Just yes! Yes!
Yeah.
Woo!